Hey, welcome back. A few weeks ago I did a video on antique and iconic frames, and my video was getting lengthy, so I thought I would show you a few more of them today, and I'll try to talk a little faster and not hem-haw around as much as I'm prone to do. So I'm going to jump right into it. I've done several trades with Joe Bishop over the years, past few years, and that's a natural I got from him. Grooves in it, and he shoots marbles. He left his bands on it. He's got a long draw. He starts up here and he drops down on it and lets it go. I've got a couple more. Here we go. Nice one. This is a mule, and Toddy's mule. This one really is Toddy's mule. That mule's a good design. It's just symmetrical and fits in the hand. This one's got a little pinky swell on it. Got an aluminum core and at least 2, if not 3 different kinds of wood. And I really like it. And actually I made Mr. Man of Kent one of my honeybee chalice and plywood and put a pinky swell on it. And I've actually got a few going out in the shop that I haven't got finished, that I'm starting on, that I'm thinking about putting one of those on. Here's another one I got from him. I don't know if this is tiger wood or what this is. Any other woodworkers out there might know. It's got a ply core for strength, but it's made for pinching with these 2 fingers. Now I assume this is a lanyard hole, maybe give you a little more stability, but it actually, for not taking up much room in the pocket, it actually, you can hold on to it better than you think you can. And I don't know who he said made it, but they did a really good job making those tips and setting it up for the first generation Scout clips. I wish they still made these. The ones they got now hold really good, and they look good on these frames that they got them on. But some of the thinner frames like I got, they kind of protrude out a little bit further. Let's see if I got anything else from, oh yeah, well, since we're talking about Mr. Joe Bishop, aka Ghost, is I think is a military name that stuck with him. This is the first Ghost. He didn't call it that, but he sent it to me. He attempted to make him one to replace his we're now calling the Mad Max, and he sent me a frame, wanted to know if I could duplicate it for him, and I made one. I kept myself one. Probably got a couple of them out there. This one's actually made out of Baltic birch. So his dog chewed it up, and he sent it to me, and I kind of patched it up a little bit, and I made him a few more, and I couldn't decide which one I liked best, so I sent him back 3 or 4 of them, and so I named it the Mad Max. So from the Mad Max, and he'd sent me this, and since then, and he put a little pinky swell on it, and actually not a bad little shooter, but I took it and put my own little spin on it so I could make them a little quicker. I didn't put that on. I've got one out there that I made with one on, tinkering around with it, but sorry for the glare. So this was my first generation design where this fork kind of angles off, but I've recently changed that to make both the fork tips the same, make them a little easier to band, because this one being at an angle, it kind of does want to kind of probably work against you getting it banded up, although there are a few of them out there, and this is the Ghost Target Sniper, still with the first generation tips out of white HDPE that he sent me. What I did is I crossed the Ghost with the iconic half-cock target sniper to make the Ghost Target Sniper, which is way smaller. And since I got this one in my hand, I got this one from Mr. Chuck and Steel. We do a little trading too, but he gifted me this one, and fortunately I've got a pretty good size hand, because these are pretty good size shooters. But I can see why, you know, they appealed to some people, because it's a comfortable design for sure. And something else I got from Mr. Chuck and Steel, he sent me this. It's kind of in that ballpark, but it's not exactly the same, but it's kind of got some similar features, yet it's different. And I think he told me this is, and I'd heard the name before, Houndstooth. And I don't know whose design it is or where he got it, but he made this from memory. But he let me have it. It's got a good color. Got a pinky back here, and I'm thinking about working something up, maybe changing a little bit. And got a nice looking natural from him. I can't remember what he said that was. But he's got it nice and smooth. And one other thing, he loaned me this is the Spitfire. I've done a video on it. Some of y'all may have seen it. That's a comfortable little frame. Not a good frame for a beginner, because it's a really low fork. If you're an experienced shooter, you probably like it. And I've got a few of them made. On that half-cock target thinking, there's a young man from Kansas that bought a frame or two from me, and he had a friend with a 3D printer. He printed these. They're it's quite a bit smaller than, I don't know what it's, I'm assuming it's based off this idea, but you can see it is different and quite a bit smaller. I think this was a 90 mil outer, because it's, you know, it's you know, I can put it in here, but it's pretty cool. But, got that tilted design. Icon. All about icons. I know you folks that's been to the Dollar Tree have seen these, and I bought a few of them and made some I think office rubber band shooters one year for Bible school at my church, and put some big pouches on them, and made some aluminum foil balls that the kids shot in a particular game room type thing we had going on. And I took that thing and cut it down, and that's still 4 inches. So these things are big. Still 4-inch outer, and I've played around with making one out of ply, but I haven't worked on that with it. This part, the way they've got it tapered, actually it tucks your hand in there pretty well. Oh yeah, a few of you seen me shoot this doing tests and things like that. This is the TS1, named after my old pal Tom Shaw, and how that came to be. He's got a vacation home a couple hours from here, and he had managed to find out about a couple of my shooters, and he come by to buy one, and we were out there in the shop just looking around at some stuff, and he saw this laying there on a pile of stuff that I had, and he said, "What's that?" And I said, "It's just a pistol grip shooter I've been tinkering with." And he picked it up, and he said, "I like the feel of that." I said, well, I haven't, I had a few ideas on it, but I haven't went any further with it. So through that, I got back to working on it, and I made it a slot. And I'm thinking about making some OTT that are low. These were I was goofing around with this to start with, and they're of course they're way higher than you'd want them. I'd seen Perry Atkinson from A Plus Slingshots. He doesn't make any anymore, as I understand it. Have something similar to this, and my office chair in there in front of my computer, on either side, I find myself gripping it at times. I thought that might make a pretty good grip for a hammer grip, so I traced it out on paper. So that's where I got the shape for it, and it's gravitated to this. I put a little more slant on the thumb part. This one's not, I hadn't had a round over bit used on it yet, but I've even thought about I could load more of these on either side and maybe plate it with something if I ever decide to get into shooting the darts, and that might give me a little protection. But this could turn into something modular, because you can use make whatever outer you wanted, as long as you make the rest of it the same, and put whatever center that you want in it. Of course, glue it and clamp it, and you'll be ready to go. Oh, this one's kind of special to me. I had a nephew make this for me out of PVC, and paracord wrapped it, and he's had a couple of YouTube channels. I can't remember what he had one, Levi's Outdoors, and I forgot about Levi's Fishing and Tying Lures or something. I can't remember what the name of it is right now. But I think that's the first one somebody made for me. Just specifically to give it to me. Something else I'm kicking around is making these little guys for Christmas tree ornaments. Y'all let me know in the comments what you think about that. And there's a couple folks out there that's got one or two of them. I see them running longer than I meant to. If any of you remember, a couple years ago or longer, I come up with this design called the Tater, and I put a horizontal slot in it for shooting OTT. Fold them up and drop them just in like I do my vertical TTF slot. But the reason I pumped the brakes on this is I had put the slot in one and then run it through the router, and it kind of welded it together right there. I made it from the heat, and I took a utility knife to work that place where it seared it together loose, and the top popped off of it, so it kind of scared me a little bit. But I have since broke a utility knife blade trying to get one off, so I don't know what happened there, but I kind of erred on the side of caution, didn't release it. There's a couple guys out there that's got one of them that haven't had any trouble with it. Matter of fact, Joe Bishop's got one, and if you all have ever watched him shoot, he puts a mojo on it. But still, I'm a little leery of it, so I never did let that go. But I've got a couple more there, but I see the video is getting long once again. Oh, and I throw this in before we go. I'm not a cowboy, but I like cowboy guns. I'm a country boy, but I grew up watching some of the westerns during the 60s. I just love that sound. And this is the Rossi Ranch Hand. Their take on the mare's leg from Steve McQueen's Wanted Dead or Alive. Of course, his was cut down even more than this. And these are sold as a pistol in the U.S. They got around it some way because the barrel's not cut down. They made the barrel 12 inches to start with and made the stock you take one, cut it down, then you got to go through a lot of other stuff. But I think in Canada these are considered a short barrel rifle, so it's a different story there. But here they're sold as a pistol. But it's just one of those things that I didn't need, but that I wanted. And they're actually, at the time, you can get a nice pistol for what I gave for this. It is basically a Winchester clone, is what it is, and they just had a good price on it. But anyway, I'm over 15 minutes there, and I didn't intend to make it that long, but appreciate y'all stopping by, and everybody stay safe out there, and I'll catch you next time.